So, I mean, what can you say about Vivaldi's Four Seasons that hasn't been said before? Because it's played perhaps more than any other piece of music in all sorts of environments, not just the concert hall, of course. You hear it in lifts, you hear it in supermarkets, you hear it on the phone while you're waiting, while you're on hold, and it drives you mad. But what we intend to do is actually illustrate it in a slightly different context. I am actually going to introduce them because the other thing is that we know the seasons so well that we don't remember always what it is about. I mean, what each passage is about. And I think at the beginning of each season, I'm not going to read the poems because you know that Vivaldi wrote these poems that to go with the seasons. They're not very good poems, and I think if I sort of just précis them and say what each section is actually illustrating, it might just remind us really how brilliant this piece is. The companion pieces with the seasons are, I mean, strangely connected in a sort of elemental way. They're all about physical attributes. I mean, there are the elements by Ravel, the water music by Telemann, and of course the seasons. They embrace all those elements, if you like. When you hear the pieces, which are less familiar than the seasons, how much cross-pollinization there's been from the other composers. You know, the storms in Telemann by the water. They're obviously related, first cousins of the storms in the seasons. In the Ravel, we have fire, we have water. It's all indicated in the score. Each instrument represents a particular element. And quite apart from the shock of the opening of the Ravel, which actually I think outdoes Vivaldi in any of the seasons in terms of well, it is just such an extraordinary chord. In the 18th century, people wrote much more normal music than the seasons. And we forget that this is really off-the-wall music, in rather the same way as the Ravel is too. I mean, it wasn't called Ravel for nothing. After all, Vivaldi wrote hundreds of concertos, and there are none of them as extraordinary as the seasons. But we know them so well, so we think of them as ordinary rather than extraordinary. And I hope that we will bring out. And I think the whole thing is going to be a really interesting. I mean, I thought Earth, Wind and Fire was a wonderful title, even though I thought of it myself. And of course, it may not mean a great deal to the present younger generation, but it certainly means an awful lot to me. And in fact, it's the one group I've actually seen play. But I hope people understand that they won't get any of that sort of music either. So I just hope you will enjoy it.